Well, for more on Apple's earnings, the immigration order, and other hot topics in Silicon Valley, I'm joined by Christopher Versace, portfolio manager for TheStreet's Trifecta stocks. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks for having me.
So let's start with reaction to Apple's record-breaking earnings. How much of a surprise was this?
Well, I mean, they came in a little better than expected on the top line, and people were concerned because of contracting revenue the last few quarters. Bottom line, just a little better than expected, but if you back out the share buyback programs that they've been using, and remember, they closed the quarter with $246 billion, earnings were more flat than up. So as I step back and I think about it, Apple is a victim of its own success with the iPhone, 70% of sales. And yes, we can talk about the success of Apple Watch and about the services business, but let's be honest. The iPhone is about 70% of Apple's revenue stream. The next closest business is only 9%. So it's all iPhone all the time.
So with that being said, then, for people who said Apple had really, lost its mark, it's not as innovative as it used to be, does this vindicate them?
I don't think so. I mean, I think we'll have to see what is the next new thing coming out of Apple. Again, good success with the Apple Watch. AirPods, I've tried to find them, can't get my hands on them. I want them, love them. But it's going to come down to what is the next iPhone all about. And there's a lot of talk about a new form factor, new display technology, removing the bezel button. But again, that's reinventing the existing product. And I think they need to come up with a new thing that kind of pulls the revenue stream of 70% from the iPhone to something a little more balanced and says, yes, they can still deliver a new product.
So that even with the success of the iPhone 7 Plus, how do you see that then potentially affecting the success of the 8 or perhaps future products?
Well, I think there's a lot of people that have been sitting on the sidelines. If we look really at the 7 compared to the 6, it was, a modest upgrade. And if we look at the way that we're seeing, particularly in the U.S., but also around the world, the way the carriers are no longer subsidizing phones, people are holding on to their devices longer. So from 6 to 8, or maybe the 10 as we'll call it, we'll see because of the 10-year anniversary, I think that there is a built-in install base that will see people upgrade their devices.
Now, let's also turn to reaction from tech firms. We saw it was swift when it came to President Trump's travel ban. But even with all this outrage, how much clout, then, do these tech leaders actually have in changing that situation?
Yeah, that's an issue that remains to be seen. If you think along the campaign season, they were not exactly all friends with President Trump, and they had that little mini tech summit with him several weeks back. So we'll see. But, from their perspective, whether it's Microsoft, Netflix, Airbnb, Apple, Facebook, and the like, this is a serious issue. If we look at the shortage of STEM jobs, roughly 230,000 that we're going to have fairly soon, we need to import talent into the United States to allow these companies to continue to innovate. And if this doesn't happen, then it's going to be very interesting to see what will transpire. My concern is if it's not sorted out, we're going to see a lot of poaching from one company to the other. Companies with the biggest cash balance, they will be the likely winners.
So then what does that mean in terms of competition? We know that Trump really wants companies here to hire American, but it takes a while to gain those skills and get people into that job. Do they risk losing their competitive edge?
That's a great point. And I think that is, particularly since when we look at the science, engineering, and math scores here in the U.S., we're not necessarily the best and the brightest in that, hence the need to import talent to continue to innovate.
Now, speaking of that, in terms of the changes to the H-1B visa program, how important is that program to tech firms here?
Well, again, if we're talking about developing new technologies, whether it's the cloud, artificial intelligence, voice digital assistants, and other new technologies that take several years and a lot of patents to protect them, then this will continue to be important, no doubt about it.
And in terms of hiring talent, staying competitive, how do companies then try and work this into their long-term strategy when they really don't know what's happening right now?
Well, I think what they're going to do is, again, look for people who are here, look at competitors. So if you look in Silicon Valley, again, you've got Facebook, you've got Twitter, you've got Apple, you've got others, and then up to the north, you've got, of course, Microsoft, Expedia, and the like. So there is a robust talent pool. The question is someone's loss with a strong balance sheet become a drain from another company as they court talent to develop products? And we see this all the time as it is. I just think it's going to be another step up in terms of competition.
So were you surprised that the idea of the H-1B visas perhaps being taken off the table was still a situation, being that he met with a lot of these tech leaders. It seemed like it gave a lot of people hope.
So I think over the weekend when the news broke, I sat there, just reading it, and I was like, oh, here we go. We're going to hear it from, again, Facebook, Apple, and all these companies, because that is a key to their innovation pipeline.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Certainly see how it all plays out. Thank you so much for joining us. Christopher Versace, Portfolio Manager for TheStreet's Trifecta stocks.